Well, welcome to Nevada Kings, a channel growing a high-grade oxide discovery in Nevada, trading on the TSX-V under NKG and the OTCQB under NKGFF. We're privileged to be joined by John Sclodnick, the CEO. First and foremost, welcome, sir.
Great. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for having me here.
Such a pleasure to get you on. And I just want to dive into this in this kind of precious metal renaissance, to say the least. For newer audiences, maybe give us a brief introduction to exactly what Nevada Kings got there.
Yeah, I guess high level, I mean, the focus is obviously Nevada is a key aspect, and we've got an oxide gold system and have an entire district under our control, 100% owned property, southeast Nevada. So that's about 3 hours north of Las Vegas. And so far, we've defined 1.1 million ounces of all oxide at 1.1 grams per ton. So within oxide, that's fairly high grade for oxide when you think about some other groups that are able to stack zero point 0.2 grams per ton on a heap leach pad and make a lot of money doing that. Yeah, we're thrilled, and that's just the start. We've got the entire caldera under our control, and so we're going to explore the rest and expect to find more ounces than that.
Yeah, and an incredible time to say the least. And I mean, speaking to the end of last year, you announced a fully funded 20,000 meter drill program. Do you want to discuss kind of the upcoming 2026 exploration strategy, when investors can expect results?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, like I mentioned, we put out a resource in 2025 that showed the 1.1 million ounces at 1.1 grams per ton. And now we stepped out, and with the previous phase three program, we're looking for satellite deposits on this 130 kilometer squared land package. And everywhere we poked holes, we've been finding gold. And we had three primary targets. And one of those is now kind of advanced to an infill stage. So with the phase four, that's now being infilled. That's called Silver Park East. The goal, obviously, is to move that to a resource category. And then we backfilled that. So we still have three regional exploration targets. So we're still looking to expand the resource at, we got Atlanta North, Atlanta South, and the new target is called Western Rim. So we've got a 20,000 meter program. About 5,000 meters of that is allocated to Silver Park East to infill and potentially expand that area and hopefully get a resource out by mid-year. And then the other areas, like we'll see where we're having success. It's not going to be, 5,000 to each of these areas. We're going to start, and if we're having success at one, we're going to lean into that and hopefully move that to an infill program if it's successful at this stage, this exploratory stage. Just want to mention, we do have a drill rig at site turning currently. So we should be getting some assays out to the market ASAP, and that should be steady right into that resource. If it's the infill successful, then get a resource update out there. Want that resource update out by mid-year. And so it should be pretty steady with drill results. We would like to get a second rig there, which would increase the pace of news flow and assay results getting back. But right now we got the one rig that's at Silver Park doing the infill work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely appreciate the insight again. And I mean, just to finish up here, why is Nevada King a compelling investment opportunity for people maybe just catching on to the story now?
Yeah, so if you look at the chart, it's a bit of a curious looking chart, and we're still down year over year. So it's a unique juncture here where everything else is kind of ripped. And the feedback I get from investors and sale equity sales desks is, investors are now looking for what hasn't moved, what's lagged, what's ready to take the next step. And after we put out that resource update in June, the stock fell. There are lofty expectations because we were putting out, bonanza intercepts, like 11.6 grams per ton over 108 meters was the best one we put out, but just some pretty phenomenal grades. So the stock fell on the back of that, and we're just kind of getting up off the mat at the end of 2025, and now we're making a move higher here. It's a really interesting moment, I think, for the stock, and probably the best time to be getting in terms of de-risked project. We've got the resource out there. We've got more exploration targets than we've ever had on the property. There's a massive re-rating potential for those 1.1 million ounces, but you're also getting a fully funded drill program. We've got a couple targets that are kind of lower risk, that being Silver Park East, which is more advanced. Atlanta North is a target that could be another kind of smaller satellite oxide near surface target. And then we've got two targets, Atlanta South and Western Rim. Like these could be elephants. These could actually dwarf the size of the Atlanta resource zone. So you're getting that fully funded program. You're getting ounces trading at $60 an ounce with a lot of growth potential. Obviously, gold above $5,000 here. So there's a huge gap to be closed. You look at recent takeouts of oxide projects in Nevada, And the average is about $230 an ounce. So there's a huge gap to be closed. We're working on closing that gap. I think it's going to be through drill results, through these catalysts, the resource update to come. So we got a lot of exciting stuff happening, and investors are starting to pay attention, and there's getting a lot of eyeballs on it now, particularly our charts in that Golden Cross formation. I'm not a big technical guy, but it is the most bullish technical indicator where your 50-day moving average starts to move above your 20-day, 200-day moving average, and we're through that period. So I think it's the best kind of risk to return potential in terms of that dynamic. It's the best we've seen, I think, in the stock right now.
On that note, I appreciate the insight today as we pass it off to the viewers. As always, we'd love to know what you think, but consider subscribing for news and catalysts as it comes down the wire like this. Of course, we'll bring it to you here. But on that, we look forward to catching you in the next one.